Hi, my name is David. I am the product manager of WISE-PaaS. WISE-PaaS is our private cloud solution, and I need to find it. WISE-PaaS is our private cloud solution to help us deploy WISE-PaaS 3.0 on-premise. So picture for WISE-PaaS 3.0 again. If you look closely, you're going to see at the bottom layer here, there's actually an infrastructure layer. This is the layer what we call ICE, Internet as a Service layer. And as in our first session, Stanley talked about how we're able to port between different infrastructure. And this includes Azure, AWS, Ali Cloud, etc. This is because we leverage the Cloud Foundry to allow us to deploy with container services. And for private deployment, we can use OpenStack to deploy WISE-PaaS on-premise. Before I get into the detail, I would like to discuss who actually needs private cloud. This discussion actually happened a lot between the customer and myself. So, who needs private cloud? First and most obvious point is those who think data privacy is their top priority in their data strategy. Nowadays, we begin to store more and more information, and these information are our company's core competency. As such, often we want to keep those data within our corporate intranet. The second point is our corporation, they design AIoT solution, as you have heard. With those AIoT solutions, they actually require large streaming data, and those data require stable connection, and since they're using those data in near real time, they need those streaming data to have low latency. As such, using WISE-PaaS or private cloud deployment, you can design your hardware configuration to meet the bandwidth requirement. And also, if your data go outside of your intranet, you will have to rely on your service provider or the country's infrastructure, and that is at times less reliable. So having a private cloud configuration will facilitate your configuration and to ensure your connection reliability. The third is cost, or cost planning, not necessary for cost saving, but for effective cost planning. On public cloud, since it's subscription-based, we can track and manage our costs effectively. We know how much resources we want to use for each application. But often when that goes into a private setting in a private cloud solution, it's relatively hard to track how much resources you're actually using by department, by organization, by application. You will need to spend more time on doing that. On WISE-PaaS, we bring the metering service to the stack as well. So you can track by organization, and you can go backward to track which application and actually calculate the return on investment for those applications and to design configuration for the specific application usage. And also for a lot of corporations, they have multiple sites. So you can actually find a cost-effective configuration for that specific data site to meet your bandwidth needs. And lastly, it's for domain-focused SI. A lot of those domain-focused SI, they're starting to leverage cloud architecture to build services for their clients, or they would like to, because to interact, to combine many services, they actually need to, it's easier to use microservice architecture. And to do that, you will need to build the solution on top of a cloud-native infrastructure. And a lot of time, IT or domain-focused SI need to build that infrastructure first before deploying their value-added application. And with WISE-PaaS, they can just bundle their application on top of the stack and sell it as a total solution, as opposed of focusing on their resources on developing infrastructure as opposed to actual application, value-added application. WISE-PaaS is a fully integrated edge intelligence private cloud. By fully integrated, I mean that we take Advantech industrial server, and then we prepare the hardware resource management. On top of it, we use Cloud Foundry to build the environment. With all these, we're able to install WISE-PaaS, deploy WISE-PaaS on premise. So everything you've heard up to this point, including the seamless connection with Advantech edge devices, the easy data acquisition tool, the storage tool, the visualization tool, and the AI tool. Everything is included on WISE-Stack. You do not have to buy them separately. You do not have to exit the private cloud to access to any of the services. So why would you consider WISE-Stack, Advantech WISE-Stack? First is complete edge to cloud solution in a private setting. Complete meaning that Advantech, we offer a lot of edge devices to help you gather your data, collect your data, and as you've heard from the public cloud section, we do that as easily as on private cloud and as on the public cloud. Because you see, right here, it's the only differ at the ICE layer. So to your experience, everything else is the same. The second point about considering WISE-Stack is that it's fully integrated, so you don't have to find suitable server yourself. You don't have to look for another virtualization layer, and you don't have to think about how to make the operation software. All you have to do is get the stack, and you have a cloud-native architecture ready to go. You don't have to communicate with many different vendors just to put everything together. Lastly, being able to move freely between the public and private cloud. As I said, the experience is exactly the same. What you do on the public cloud, you can pour onto the private cloud and vice versa. So being able to move freely between the public and private cloud is very beneficial because sometimes you might build something on the private cloud and you need to leverage way more computation resources, or you would like to share that application with more people or even selling that. So sometimes you might want to extend your services outside of your internet. So being able to move freely, you can leverage the immense computation power on the public cloud and also choose the actual private data you want to keep in-house. So the different tier design is achievable relatively easy with this configuration. So by fully integrated, it also includes hardware. Many people would like to ask if we can deploy WISE-Stack, WISE-PaaS on their hardware, and we actually choose and prefer and we almost exclusively only provide our hardware, and this is because this is tested, fully tested, and validated for performance and stability. And to start, we chose a 6-server configuration to start, and this is an economical, very cost-effective configuration. It includes 6 servers. The first 3 servers we use as controller nodes. These nodes are used to control the operation, the internet, and the load balancing, which data goes to which server and which computation to go into which server. These are all done for you, so the first 3 servers are the controller node. The bottom 3 servers are what we call the HCI node. They combine the computation power of a compute node and a storage size of a storage node. So it combines the benefit of 2 different kinds of nodes. This is to reduce the number of the servers our customer has to buy in the starting configuration. So with this configuration, on the left, you're going to see the actual specification. These are the specifications our clients can access to. So we already take off the OS cost and the operating system cost and other storage costs. So these are the resources our clients can actually use. It includes 384 virtual core and 32 terabyte of storage size. And 32, that's already replicated 3 times. So it's actually 96 terabyte of total volume. We replicated 3 times, so you can only use 32 terabyte. And for this configuration, the last section is the AI framework service. And in fact, a lot of our clients are using, actually almost all the clients that bought WISE-Stack are using it for AIoT solutions. So this machine right here on the right side, the analytics server, the analytics node, that's actually an optional purchase you can buy with WISE-PaaS. So this stack also comes with 2 switches. One is the 1 gigabyte switch to handle the internal to handle the public traffic. Since we're connecting to the outside, the speed might not be as critical. So that the 1 gigabyte switch is for deployment purposes, monitoring purposes, and to connect to the external internet. And there's another switch for the 10 gigabyte, and that's for internal traffic. We also design WISE-PaaS to support elastic expansion per user need. So this means that it starts as a 6-server configuration. So if you need a GPU node, you just purchase and we'll configure that ready for you such that WISE-PaaS can enable and trigger that computation resources. And as you need more resources, all you have to do is purchase additional HCI node, and we'll configure that, prepare that for you, such that it arrives as a almost plug and play. All we need to do is a very, very simple configuration on-site and some validation and testing just to make sure everything's running. But this is elastic expansion. It means that your operation will not be disturbed as we increase resources. All you will see is increased resource pool. And also another feature I like to mention that we start with 6 servers because for each type of node we have 3 servers. That's for high operation availability. That means when any server breaks down, your operation keeps running. All you have to do is replace the failed node. 6 applications, 6 examples of what we actually deploy, and to share with you why our client chose with the private cloud deployment as opposed to using the public cloud. This is the AI AOI system for PCB, the VIP defect detection solution that Jamie talked about in last session. And in these solutions, that there's actually an actual image that keep running, keep detecting. And these images are not only the intellectual property of the manufacturer or the know-how is on it, but also the intellectual property of their client. So to maintain the privacy and to protect their client, they actually do not want these pictures to go outside of their company. So this is why they set up this WISE-PaaS to ensure their AI, to support their AIoT. Because for this real-time streaming real-time streaming image inferencing, it actually needs tier design. The first tier being the edge inference layer, that we take the image and we inference them right away. And then there's a large data size that needs to go into somewhere, that needs to be stored somewhere. And also we need a place to train that. So this is why they need such a stack to empower their AIoT solution, the first one. The second one, our own manufacturing facility. This is a virtual measurement for temperature-sensitive production monitoring. So temperature control is extremely important in manufacturing, and it is a knowledge that takes years to master, because in temperature control, if you imagine, it's actually like an oven, so the heat distribution is actually difficult to understand if you want to reference it, not direct measurement. So by virtual sensing, we mean that we measure the temperature at one point to reference to another point, and we have to do that continuously and in real time. So in this scenario, this temperature profile you see right there on the diagram, on the architecture diagram, that temperature profile is actually a know-how of the manufacturing facility that they do not want to go out of their production line. And also having that in real time, having that profile in real time, and having the result in real time, our factory was able to integrate with the situation room to actually monitor the manufacturing activity at real time, and also include this profile with every PCB we manufacture and send it out as a history to our client. So this is the added value for our client. But most importantly is to keep this temperature profile at home instead of going outside the company. This is the vibration case that Jamie talked about also. To be able to manage vibration characteristics and vibration profile is extremely important for manufacturer because vibration control is not only critical for equipment management, the most effective equipment management, but also for quality, not only for quality to prevent bad quality, but also for quality management, because vibration happens all the time. But how do you differentiate a vibration that will allow you to produce good product and vibration that will not? That's something of a know-how that takes years and years of experience of a lot of experts. So being able to manage that is also an extremely sensitive material they would like to keep on-premise. At the same time, again, this is high-density streaming data they need to use in real time. This is why they choose to adopt a WISE-PaaS, a private cloud deployment. Again, this is the real-time production quality prediction system that Jamie also talked about in petrochemical industry. In petrochemical industry, when they predict the outcome of a product, they can adjust all the valves and parameter in real time to ensure to correct what's coming out. So it's a feedback system. They need to do it in real time. At the same time, because it's petrochemical, it's oil refinery. So the return is immense. To be able to control and predict, the knowledge to be able to do that is immense. This is another reason why they choose the private deployment. This is a forward-thinking case that we're discussing with hospitals. In hospital, we're actually having a lot of machines, and these machines are detecting human physiological data in real time. And in the past, we're only able to do threshold and role-based monitoring. And that leaves a lot of opportunity to improve, a lot of room for improvement, because a lot of symptoms actually happen way before the onset of the problem. So having this real-time streaming, not only we can monitor all the critical equipment usage in the hospital, how they're performing, how to build them in the hospital, but also for AI-aided monitoring to be able to predict or to be able to notice that problem before it happens. And again, patient data is so sensitive that hospital will not allow that data to go outside. And last, this is the last example, is for integrated solution for smart retail. And in retail, there's a lot of data that we collected, and we are used to collecting onto public cloud. But right now, we actually want to match the user behavior, human behavior, with the data. And humans, we don't want them to be identifiable. Our clients, we don't want all their picture or image to go outside of the corporation. So in using a WISE-PaaS or private cloud deployment, you can actually pre-process all the information, do the AI, and send information that's not sensitive or not identifiable outside to your corporation. So you can do peer processing. So that's a lot of cases that's all AIoT cases that we've worked on. So how do we work with these companies to help them set up WISE-PaaS? We actually have really standardized procedure to help us to speed up that procedure. First, we do pre-sale, and that pre-sale is actually a deep conversation between our consultant and our clients. We do scenario design. We first understand what they try to achieve, and then through that understanding, we start to calculate throughput. We help them configure the best. We work with them to help configure the best configuration possible. And then we see if there's opportunity that they can adapt what's already designed from us or our partner in the SRPs. Then we go into a deployment stage. In the deployment stage, we check on our user's environment first. We do standardized installation deployment and procedure at Advantech, and then we take those machines to our client site to do acceptance check, and finally we do handoff. After the handoff, we do two kinds of training. The first kind is standard on-site training for the operation and the standard WISE-PaaS usage. The other one is the customized on-site training. If our client has specific topics or specific scenario they want to deploy, they can ask us which topic to focus on. And lastly, we have a service level agreement with our clients. The first year is free. We only have the maintenance fee starting from the second year. And with this service level agreement, we're able to provide operation support 24/7. So we will tell our clients how to submit support tickets, and we teach them how to do the simple checkout on site first. They can connect with us 24/7, and we provide operation support. And we also send notices to our client regarding all the system upgrade and new services. If you notice from WISE-PaaS 2.0 to 3.0, we actually have two brand new services in APM, and we're releasing ASS formally. So our client, if they keep purchasing SLA and if they keep working with us, they have the right to access to all the updates and all the new features. So you saw on the public cloud, all the services, all the site reliability team, everything comes with WISE-PaaS. So even if you deploy on-site, on-premise, you can do that with WISE-PaaS as well. For different layer, again, you have the first layer of support, the first layer of contact. You do level 0 or sometimes the level 1 service. We train you how to examine problem and tell us what the problem is, and we will set up a private connection with you to help you to alleviate your problem in the shortest time possible. So in the architecture, in the actual scenario, you saw two main products that were shown. The first one is the situation room. The booth is at R1-1, and you will be able to see SLP dashboard live if you have not checked out. And at booth 3-2, you will actually see WISE-PaaS, the physical machine. So you are able to experience the physical machine and see the user interface. So for more information, you can scan this QR code or come by the booth to get the brochure, and the QR code is there as well. Can I give everybody a minute? So that's my presentation.